Woman's harrowing escape, a chronicle of violence and survival. In the quiet landscape of Florida, a chilling narrative unfolds. David Gipson now stands accused of unspeakable acts, facing a litany of felony charges that paint a portrait of calculated brutality. Kidnapping, rape, and homicide form the core of these accusations, each charge a testament to the depths of human depravity. The victim's desperate escape from a storage container marks the beginning of this grim tale. Her survival stands in stark contrast to the fate of her mother-in-law, who was fatally beaten in an act of senseless violence. The legal system now grapples with the task of delivering justice in the face of such profound horror. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. The nightmare began at the victim's home, where Gipson allegedly confronted her with demands for money. He claimed that her husband and brother-in-law were indebted to him, setting the stage for a violent escalation. This demand served as a prelude to the brutal events that would follow. Reports indicate that Gipson attacked the woman, restraining her with handcuffs and forcibly removing her clothing. The assault escalated further with the fatal beating of her 74-year-old mother-in-law, Letty Cooper Collins. The violence inflicted upon Collins was merciless and devastating. The severity of the attack left Collins' eyes swollen shut, a grim testament to the brutality she endured. This detail underscores the sheer force and rage that fueled Gipson's actions. The scene painted a picture of utter helplessness and despair. Following the initial assault, Gipson allegedly dragged the woman to his vehicle, further escalating the terror. He subjected her to sexual assault, compounding the physical violence with psychological trauma. The threat of death hung heavy in the air, a constant reminder of her precarious situation. Confined within the cold, unforgiving walls of a storage container, the woman's ordeal continued. Gipson bound her in a hog-tie manner, a position that induced a terrifying fear of suffocation. This method of restraint amplified her vulnerability and desperation. The hog-tie, a particularly cruel method, restricted her movement and breathing, intensifying her panic. Each moment in that container was a battle against both physical constraint and the encroaching darkness of despair. Her will to survive was tested to its absolute limit. Against all odds, the woman managed to free herself from her bonds within the storage container. This act of defiance marked a turning point in her struggle for survival. Her determination to escape fueled her every move. She used a tree to scrape away the duct tape that sealed her mouth, a small victory in the face of overwhelming adversity. This simple act of resourcefulness allowed her to call for help, a lifeline in her desperate situation. The taste of freedom, however fleeting, spurred her onward. Fleeing the scene of her captivity, she stumbled onto a nearby road, her body exposed and vulnerable. A passing motorist discovered her and immediately contacted 911. This act of kindness was the intervention she desperately needed. The victim was found naked and in dire need of medical attention, her body bearing the marks of her ordeal. Her physical and emotional wounds were profound, requiring immediate and comprehensive care. The road to recovery would be long and arduous. Authorities arrived at the home to discover the lifeless body of Letty Cooper Collins. The scene was one of unspeakable violence, a testament to the brutality of the attack. The investigation began immediately, seeking to piece together the events that led to this tragic outcome. Collins was found beaten to a pulp, a stark and disturbing description of the violence she suffered. The extent of her injuries underscored the merciless nature of the assault. The crime scene offered a grim tableau of human cruelty. Investigators believe the attack unfolded throughout Sunday night, prolonging the victim's suffering. This timeline suggests a sustained period of violence, amplifying the horror of the crime. The night was filled with terror and despair. Following an extensive search in a nearby wooded area, law enforcement apprehended David Gipson. His capture brought a sense of relief, but also a stark realization of the evil that had been unleashed. The community breathed a collective sigh of relief. Initial charges against Gipson included aggravated battery, sexual assault, and false imprisonment, reflecting the immediate impact of his actions. These charges, however, were only the beginning of the legal reckoning. The full extent of his crimes was yet to be fully accounted for. Additional charges were subsequently added, including homicide and abuse of a corpse, acknowledging the full scope of his depravity. These charges underscored the gravity of his actions and the irreversible damage he had inflicted. The legal system prepared for a complex and challenging case. The sheriff described the crime as a horrific event, capturing the community's shock and outrage. His words reflected the profound impact of the violence on the entire region. The sense of security had been shattered. Condolences were extended to the victim's family, acknowledging their immense loss and suffering. The community rallied around them, offering support and solidarity in their time of grief. The bonds of community were tested and strengthened. Gipson's extensive criminal history reveals a pattern of violence and disregard for the law. His past actions provide a chilling context for the current charges. The system had failed to rehabilitate him, leading to this tragic outcome. He had accumulated 33 previous felony charges dating back to 1999, a staggering record of criminal behavior. This history paints a picture of a man deeply entrenched in a life of crime. The question of whether this tragedy could have been prevented looms large. Gipson had served 8 prison sentences in his adult life, a testament to his repeated encounters with the justice system. Despite these incarcerations, he continued to reoffend, highlighting the challenges of rehabilitation. The cycle of violence seemed unbreakable. Previous convictions included arson, resisting an officer, and possession of drug paraphernalia, indicating a diverse range of criminal activities. These offenses, while seemingly disparate, all point to a pattern of disregard for the law and the safety of others. His actions demonstrated a clear and present danger to society. Gipson is currently being held without bond, reflecting the severity of the charges and the risk he poses to the community. This decision underscores the gravity of the situation and the need to protect potential victims. The legal system is taking no chances. The investigation is ongoing, with authorities continuing to gather evidence and piece together the full sequence of events. Every detail is crucial in building a strong case against Gipson. The pursuit of justice is relentless. It remains unclear whether Gipson has retained an attorney, leaving his legal representation uncertain. This lack of representation could complicate the proceedings, but the legal system is prepared to ensure his rights are protected. The wheels of justice continue to turn, regardless of his cooperation.